The 3-mapper comes to fruition.
Look at the Vanguard overclocked interaction.
Look, let's rate the Leiden overclock interaction first. Let's just get that now.
Overclock Darmstadt Leiden.
Okay. Easy. Leiden number 10.
Jesus Christ. Straight up.
I will say teammates, but they haven't taken down enough yet in Glorious Blasters. The point is ticking up. Oh no! It is an Ajax here, unfortunately, for Apricornicus. So good on the Lucia. You know, the Souls are really an unfavored pick here in this particular metagame, just because of the way the shields work, but finally making it work. Speaking of making it work, Aquatic finally making some inroads here on behalf of Rolling Panda GIF, and they're fine.
Hold half of them off. Terra and Lord, they were completely out of position. And I think that's all it took to just dismantle their entire bashing setup.
Oh, I like that. They're from freezing the Sigma so we can't eat the Mei ulti and popping it on everyone. You mad, man. Facebook with his life, what does he care? His team is winning this one out. That said, Terran Lord flexing his muscles now on the Doomfist, but I think there's still more than enough muscle.
See what ends up happening.
I'm looking at 2 squishies standing in front of a Sigma shield. There's one dead.
There's
the other one standing in front of the
two.
shield dead. There's another one standing in front of the shield dead. I can't get on one shit, Dogs. I can't do it anymore.
I said it's a hit scan dream.
20 seconds.
It's a hit scan dream, and there immediately 3 picks come out from Trizzle. It is intense when you basically come up against a team that is willing to take off these angles. You can't
end up committing too much. They do have ults on their side. On the other hand, Inglorious Blasters do also have their ults. They're going to have their Window and they're going to have their Orisa ult coming up. But they've taken high ground. That's a big thing for Inglorious Blasters in their composition, especially with this Bastion, the Window on the high ground.
Man.
They're not getting Smiley. That's huge. If she'd gone down, that would have been really bad for the Five Knights.
Great movement from Smiley there. One of the better Pharaohs in the country, it has to be said, and using the box very effectively there, Mercy, sorry, as Chambi finds the kills. I mean, I don't know how good a Pharaoh is. For all we know, she's the best Pharaoh in the world.
There's a price to being as forward thinking.
It's jail.
It's jail. Yeah, we practice clairvoyance, so it's like, a witch. Jail.
We're unfortunately fugitives from the law. I'm sorry to tell you guys.
Yes, Kalza supports criminals. Don't clip that.
Okay. It's going to be a little bit of a balancing act for Teachers Lounge here to survive without their Moira here. Make sure that
consistent damage, good flank control. Not that there's much flank potential on the Salamander's side, but we always like a little bit more consistency. And also the Reinhardt switch.
Huge. That grab was everything. But
Oh my
days!
days!
It's play of the game. Tux,
That's play.
beautifully done there in the thick of the grabs and the earth shatters. A massive 5-man res to keep the Smiley with a 4K res of his own. Just fights back. It's not quite as big, but it's big enough, and it gives Monarch the space that they need to keep fighting this back. Salamanders, Tux did so much, and Smiley says, no you. Uno reverse card.
That was absolutely disgusting. Somebody clip that. Overwatch 1 needs to be...
Yeah, Overwatch.
This is
Lucio getting picked there on the side of Hatchling, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, on the side of Hatchling, coming in there already with Lucio. So Farah coming in through on Jack. Oh!
And Trigger does something Trigger does. Trigger jumps off the map.
Danger map that I set up for a whole play. Caster Curse in extremes. But here we go, the team trying to set up. We've obviously got Hatchling looking pretty comfortable so far. On the
Agree with that. I think Charlotte as well to Knoppies, who was actually quite a standout performer on that Anna. We kind of poo-pooed him at the beginning, being like, about how good he was, or would be, but plenty of key sleeps and good anti-nades to shut down the main man Cubic as well. So Great work from Klompis as well. In every Overwatch game, it's a team effort. We know that as well as anybody does. But sometimes you just got to point out the players who stood out.
Yeah.
So guys, that is the first game of the little square around him, disbanded, that he could work through. Now isolated alone, he gets the charge through onto Sally. Awesome squats, boys. Things are getting real up in here as the
just to their benefit right now, tracks the Kiriko in there and mainly mitigates the damage coming out from the other side. Solaris and the Farah not wanting to jump in there. Cheetahs, he's got off the map! He's jumped off the map and that's...
No. And because we won this final game, I did make a promise to my team, and they're gonna hold this as against me at some point, but that's fine. Because I'm a cat, I have to say the following words, so please forgive me.
Come on, clip this.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
nice.
That's the promise.
Nice. A man of his word, something.
That's a lot of damage reduction, and Feroci's gonna pay the price for it. Tendo takes out Emma, but immediately refragged by Fox and Hound. It's very, very close here. Cloud9 are all over this point, and there's just not enough bodies for Team Uwu to throw. How are you still alive? Just accept the fate. My goodness, out comes the Immortality Field. It's still not out. They're not down and out. It's not over until the Fat Lady sings, and I don't hear any music. For Realsy's taking out Samwise. Samwise the martyrdom. It's absolute chaos on the point. For Realsy's somehow still alive. Out comes the Molten. That's another one. Fox and Hound falling. How is Uwu clawing this back? How are you doing it, you sweet, sweet gems? And Emma Dilemma says no to Reggie chasing after them, but it's 3 seconds left, and somehow they pushed them off. How have they done this? Team Uwu, the defense clawed back from the jaws of defeat. Absolutely incredible. Uwu indeed.
That's the man of the hour.
Oh, wow.
Gonna go straight for the flag, and then you utilize that pig pen to also... But it's the exact same strategy on the other side. Risen going to be picking up the flag. They've ignored each other, walked through, and it's going to be the clash on the return that really decides this.
That's fantastic. That actually adds a little bit of weight to this. But the boop off the map here, that's huge, giving them the opportunity to just carry both sticks off the map. Oh no, what is that? Oh, Risen, you think you see that happen twice, and you're like, maybe we don't go along that edge, but there he went, and here we are.
Secured, and they will secure it, but they're fighting back nicely here. But after all said and done, Blur will roll over John Wack, but it doesn't matter.
I haven't seen anyone from Bomb Squad, but I feel like it's kind of funny how their team name is Bomb Squad, but their usernames are all so cute. We've got Caramella Bear, Dwellums, and Not Raw. It's adorable, but Bomb Squad, it's quite the oxymoron.
Pulse Bomb goes down, doesn't find anything on this occasion. Blue will have to start holding that up again. Tac Visor at the ready, gets popped now, going to move forward, looking for kills, not finding anything. In fact, Toxin Sock strikes immediately with the drill, takes down Kurigari, and ultimate, not finding anything, and now his own ultimate Tox. Finding 1 kill, finding 2 kill, can he get all 5? It looks like Well, another day, another European challenger comes a knocking at the doors of the fortress that is South African Overwatch. Last week, 2 weeks ago, it was none other than Iceland stepping up to the plate and doing a handy job of sorting us out. But today it's a different challenger. This time the South African team take on Greece in another show match here. My name is Sun Phoenix and I'm joined by Lixodian. Lix, you're back again, you and I, to cover these games. How are you feeling coming into our second show match here before the Overwatch World Cup?
So excited. Absolutely excited. Love seeing our team play. Love having the SA team, get that PS going. This time, they will know what we know. This time.
We can only hope so, Lix, because last time, like I say, Iceland had us pretty figured out, to be fair. I think we'll get into this, I suspect, as the game goes on, but a little bit of lack of flexibility on the South African side, and I think that's going to be a storyline that we're going to be assessing as things continue here. But before we jump too deep into any reviews of past games and previews of this one, why don't we take a quick look at our rosters? Why don't we start with the challenges from our perspective and take a look at the Greece lineup. It is going to be on the tank. It is going to be Mormer, and then your two DPS, Alex, TFM, and Gelly, and then Tycho and Artas. Lix, I don't imagine you have too much to add here, given what we know about the Greece team.
I do know a little bit. So I spotted on the cheeky team sheet that Otters actually has played on Timeless, which is a recent addition to OWCS. Not exactly sure to which extent, not sure how much they were fielded. But yeah, definitely somebody to look out for. And Tycho as well was on there. I think their sub-roster, Timeless Aurora, I think that team played Collegiate. So some names that have seen some other names, I'll say.
That's a good way of putting it. Some people who have interacted with other people you may have heard of. But why don't we take a look at the players we do know a little bit more about. It is, of course, going to be South Africa. Connie and Sterling are your DPS. Zoom is your tank. And Melody and Karma on your support roles. We've also got Jacob, the One King, and Theomatic pottering about as substitutes. This is a squad that changes their roster depending on the map, so we should expect to see more than just these 5 players. But what are your thoughts on the South African stalwarts here?
No, look, they are definitely the best that we can offer. And obviously they have been working super hard. I had a message from Zwoom after the Iceland game where he was like, "We're all fired up. We're ready. We're gonna get into this. We're ready to just take over." So I want to see if this is going to come true. I want to see if Zwoom's fire caught on to the rest of the team and if they can bring it down.
That is awesome to hear, because on occasion, not everybody has been as motivated as everybody else. So to hear that they are fired up is awesome, because we're getting fired up watching them. I think the Iceland game, if we will now just quickly cast our eyes back before we jump into the map selection, I think it surprised a lot of us in just how competitive we ended up being. I think there was a big fear from some of us that we might be completely swept away. And while the scoreline was pretty confident from Iceland, I think the games themselves were closer than I might have feared they might be.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, South Africa put up quite a big fight, quite a good fight. And we came quite close many times to actually taking the map or taking it to quite a distant point. And you think about something like Blizzard World, where we held them so long, and then it was just that one little mistake that cost us the map. And it was a lot of moments like this where we were so close. So we definitely have it in us. We just need to unlock that little potential.
100%. We do have our first map, though. It is going to be, no surprise, Lijiang Tower to start us off here. A pretty standard place to start in these kind of matches, Lixodian. A map we're all very, very familiar with.
Yeah, I mean, expecting to see some brawl, expecting to see some dive. We know that Control Center gets a little bit brawly. But what I find funny from a narrative perspective is that the Greeks didn't take us to Greece. Because why would you not want to play on your homeland?
That's true. I mean, that's novel for us, but I guess for them, it's since 2016 they've had the option. It's probably not even a fun little novelty for them. anymore. I know if they added a South African map, it would definitely be the first map of every series, no matter what map type it was. Even if it was a capture the flag map, I think we might crowbar it in there. There's no escaping that. But yeah, I think I look forward to this. Now, let's again cast our mind back to the Iceland game, Lix, and I think the elephant in the room, or a different animal in the room perhaps, was, or a different scientist in the room perhaps, was of course the monkey pick that they were so insistent on crowbarring into their lineup, the South African team. Now, we did have a little bit of a chat with Smiley, and we know that this is actually a strategy that they really do believe in. It's not some throw pick. This is not them. You know, there's an element of hiding strats maybe, but they were actually confident in their ability. They did feel like their prospects improved as the match went on, as they got more comfortable with that lineup. But again, I spoke about it last time, and I wonder this time if we will see them stick on that, or whether they'll be able to flex just a tiny bit more. Because I don't know if you agree, Lex, but Alt and I often felt like they were getting dominated by D.Va, who has the stronger matchup there. So what are your thoughts on that monkey pick, and do you think they might flex into something else a little bit throughout the series?
No, look, us on the panel also, we're noticing a lot of D.Va domination, a lot of just like getting run through by that D.Va, and we were also like, why are we sticking with the monkey? Their pace is clearly faster, their execution is a little bit better, and now you're adding the extra, I want to say like counter, where it's D.Va versus monkey. Personally, not really somebody who believes in counters, simply because, like, I don't know, if you play smart around it. So maybe the monkey can work, right? If you can find your weaknesses, adapt for it, and then, you know, play around whatever it is that is going to bite you in the butt. I feel like you can make it work. Listen, Zwoom is a good monkey. Reinhardt enjoyer, but still an exceptional monkey. But I also think that Zwoom has a really, really good Zarya. And that would have kind of been the play in my eyes, to just kind of stop their tempo, just to anchor them.
100%, with the exception perhaps of Gibraltar, where you're probably better off keeping on the monkey or matching the D.Va. I think that was a big standout, that they didn't go to the Zarya, you know, at least once on one of those maps. But the other thing was they didn't even ban the D.Va once, which again was a peculiar decision. Kind of felt like they wanted to beat them on their best heroes, which might not always be the best path to securing victories. But look, we're going to see here. Again, we don't know necessarily what's happening in the comms, the coaching staff, what the actual goal is for these show matches. Nothing really on the line here other than pride, and you'd rather set yourself up for success as we go into the upcoming tournaments rather than, you know, spending all your money on these show matches. So I look forward to seeing how the South African squad has updated their playstyle coming to this, if at all. But I also look forward to seeing how Greece compares to Iceland. Lex, I don't know if you have any idea of how these two teams stack up, but I can't really think of an obvious reason why Greece should be a ton better or a ton worse than Iceland are. But I guess we'll see in a few moments once we get started here.
Look, we're still operating under the exception or expectation that these are the best teams each country can field. So you'd expect them to be at a same level. Maybe it's just coordination, but mechanics, you're expecting them to have an exceptional level of mechanics. And what's a little bit interesting, a little bit of tea that we found out, is that there is a coach shared between these two teams. So I wonder how that influences the fact that this coach knows both teams. Like, who does this coach, are they biased? Are they unbiased? Are they just simply coaching the teams? Do they have a favorite team? Because the coach for the head coach for Greece is our assistant coach. So, and both teams want this coach to stay. So somewhere alliances need to be made. And I wonder how that plays in as well, because Iceland did not have this information. Iceland did not sit into most of the scrims, did not sit there and, like, you know, take notes and then bring it back and all that kind of stuff. That was not possible. But Greece has this. So I don't know, maybe this is kind of like a little insider that's going to be a difference maker. Maybe we get the benefit.
That's what I was going to say. The vice versa is true as well, of course, that we didn't have the same kind of insight into the Iceland squad as we might now into the Greek squad. So it does set up for an interesting grudge match. Apparently, we played Greece in 2019 in the Overwatch World Cup. We can find no evidence of that looking on Wikipedia. We're not quite sure. We're not saying it didn't happen, but there's no paper trail to prove it. But the Greek, community seemed quite keen on getting involved with us. I think they actually approached us to they watched the game against us and they said, yes, we'd like to take up that challenge as well. And so we are thankful for them to reaching out. We'd love more of the European teams to reach out, or any of the EMEA teams, obviously, to kind of stack up against and see where exactly more experience is better for sure. We do have a starting lineup though, Lix, for the South African squad. It is going to be the One King, Condi, Zulu, Melody, and Karma. The only unusual thing there is King in for Sterling. Kind of suggests they want to lean a little bit away from the hit scan and more into more projectile-based. King, I think, plays your Genjis and that sort of thing. But I do think he was also playing a lot of Sojourn. So it wouldn't surprise me to see the Tracer Sojourn, which they ran a lot in their previous series as well. Another thing that wouldn't surprise me is if we do end up on Control Center, I don't think we're going to see Zoom get through that map without touching the Reinhardt, at least a little bit. We know he loves to come out on the Rhine, so I wouldn't be shocked if we saw it there.
Listen, something that this is telling me is we know that Condi, one of Condi's favorite heroes, is a Tracer. And One King loves his dive, loves an Echo, loves a Genji, probably would pick up the on-run if that was an option. So I am expecting to see some synergy with the Winston. I'm expecting to see more Winston. I'm expecting to see the Tracer. I'm expecting to maybe see an Echo, and then on that control center, probably the Sojourn comes out.
100%.
Like this, it's kind of reading like that to me. I should maybe not knock my frog over.
I think that makes a lot of sense to me. I think, if I'm trying to remember, I think we did see the Echo a little bit, and I think it was probably the One King coming out on that. It doesn't really seem like something that's in Sterling's Hero pool. So, like I mentioned, though, kind of at the top of this, we should be expecting this team in particular to substitute fairly regularly. They've got 3 substitutes. The most common substitute they'll make is this one, King and Sterling swapping around. Sterling, for those of you who are not South African, looking at the chat, I think we've got a few expats here involved, which is awesome to see. But he's one of the best hit scans in the country, and that's kind of where he likes to operate. The soldier, the Widowmaker, that's kind of his bread and butter. So to see him out kind of tells you what direction they're leaning away from. But we do finally have some of our bans coming in. Sorry for the delay, guys. Not on us, on the lobby creators and all of that. We are merely servants here. But we do know our first ban is going to be none other than Emre. A very interesting ban here, Lix. What do you make of this?
So I think that there is knowledge of the dive. I think Emery is really good at flanking and can probably set up on nice angles to support the dive, and that lifesteal is just crazy. I think they recently buffed it, and it is just not. It's not enjoyable to play into, so I can fully understand this. Interesting that it's not the cat, because the cat also recently, has been a little bit of a menace.
I just if you're on the competitive viability of the cat, if you get what I'm saying, I don't know how that stacks up.
I don't know. OWCS has had a few cat scenes. We've seen the cat around a few times, and in the right hands, that thing it's a problem. Our second ban being Ram.
That tells us what we might see coming out of South Africa, which we kind of alluded to.
This just tells me there's probably going to be Rhine for the control center, and there will almost definitely be Winston. Simply because, if they're playing Ram is a really good anchor into Winston. That void makes life really difficult to dive. And just obviously very tanky in comparison to Winston. We're
gonna have to see here what the complexion of this Greek squad is. Obviously, Iceland landed on a composition that worked for them, and they didn't really deviate from that. Obviously, part of that is they weren't really forced to, but they were happy to run behind what Ginger Reels. Let's not try and remember people's names. That's recipe for disaster. But behind the diva and kind of oscillate around that. So, with the fact that we know there is some level of preconceived understanding between these two squads, given the familiarity, if I can put it that way, between the two coaching staffs. I think this opening ban, actually, we can glean quite a bit from this in terms of what the expectation is from each team of the strengths of the opposing team. So the Ram is an interesting banner. It's not really the most popular hero at the moment, but as you said, it does make playing the Winston and the Reinhardt a little bit more challenging, the Reinhardt especially. And the Emre, as you said, can be a bit of a menace on the flanks and just consistent damage a la the Soldier. I wonder if, though, with Sterling not being in, whether South Africa was actually looking towards playing this Emre, but I'm sure King and Condi can play it if needed. But it does kind of mean that from South Africa's perspective, I think they'll probably be pretty happy with how this is played out. Yes, they could play the Emre, but that's not something they've shown us yet, Lix. So I think as things stand here, they can be happy with this.
I think as of late, before this game, in the Iceland game, I don't think Emre was that strong yet. The buff only came through quite recently. So not quite sure what their idea was. Maybe they're just scared of it. Maybe they've seen it in other scrims. And maybe they don't even know that Sterling is the hit scan here.
Yeah.
Maybe
possibly.
Benina is just kind of like, playing from the top and pulling strings.
Maybe. Well, we're seconds away here from first blood, from finding out what these two teams are going to bring to the fore here. We will be starting on Garden, so unlikely to see the Reinhardt taking things off here from Zoon. I suspect we will at the very least start with the Winston, Tracer, and maybe the Sojourn. But they might go all in on the dive. Genji's been pretty unpopular, Lix, but I know King loves that hero, so we'll see whether he tries to make it work or not. And as I suggested, he is out on it for now, but let's see what they come at the door with. Greece on the other side, though, as a comparison to Iceland, Lix, they look like they're going to be leaning on the Zarya a bit more than the Diva, at least in the first
Yeah, this is an interesting pick, and the Cat also hovering a little bit of an interesting pick, but the Zarya, a very different playstyle from Iceland, and then they hover the Diva, which is kind of exactly what Iceland were doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, one King hovering the Genji, but coming out on the Sojourn. This one kind of makes sense. All right, we're going in.
I would have been shocked if they'd actually committed to that Genji. I think that hero is real, not good at the moment, but coming out on the Sojourn, what we would expect as both teams kind of set up here. Condi taking position up on the point, a pretty split approach here from the Greece side here, but they've spotted the target. The Kiriko not going to stick around though, will TP out to safety to the Winston. We do get the trade though. Condi avenges Karma there going down, but you'd rather lose the Tracer here than the Kiriko. Healing now just a little bit more limited on the side of South Africa as the pressure is put on. Melody dropping low, beats a hasty retreat as the trade comes out, and Zoom showing us exactly why they lean so heavily on his Winston, picking up a couple of kills there on the point. Point will be taken here first up by the South African side as they look to try and stabilize now, but the Greece side not making it too easy, but they will put back in regroup now. First blood, South Africa.
This is looking good. Definitely a much cleaner execution as of last time that we've seen them. The dive is looking pretty strong.
Is indeed once again here Morma being put under pressure. The Diva not quite the menace that we saw from Iceland here as we look at Greece, but still plenty of time to make it work. There's a Lucio kind of floating around the map there. Yeah, Melody finally secures that kill. Otter's not able to find their way back up onto the safety of dry land here. Morma finding the safety of the sky at the moment, looking for cover, but so far so good for South Africa.
This seems like South Africa has been adjusting to the Diva. They've taken everything and almost like treated it like information. Very much learning from their mistakes in the past, learning how to kind of adapt around it. I suspect many VOD reviews have happened, just on how to handle the D.Va as a Winston comp. And it's kind of showing.
Ooh, Boop off forces the relocate as Otters, though he does get the revenge onto Melody, and now the kills coming through for Greece. 2 kills to the good here now as South Africa scrambling back a little bit. They try and get the touch to keep the point in their favor, but it's not going to happen. Angry Monkey in the mix, but not likely to find anything as Zoom dropping very low. One King, though, finds Psycho. Maybe there's something to be said here for a quick re-engage, and it looks like that's what they're going for. Zoom looking for targets in the middle, not finding anything just yet, but the overclock does come through. So does the sound barrier. South Africa committing a lot to this, but the opposing sound barrier comes out as well. Both teams feel like they need to win this team fight, but the point is in control of Greece at the moment. Alex dropping low, taken down, out of position, and dealt with by the South African backline, and that's going to mean the front line is free and clear to retake the point. 69 up on the clock. South Africa back in control.
South Africa is handling this pretty well. This was a very ult-heavy fight from both sides, and while Greece only really has the self-destruct left, South Africa committed all the right ults, and we've kept the time. We've kept the numbers ticking up as well, and yeah, it's been a very good rotate. It feels like the comms are cleaner this week as well. Like the fire that we were talking about earlier, it seems to be in the game now.
100%. They do feel sharper on the evidence of this first game. Condi, they wins that trade against Gailey. One King, though, taking down Carmelo's Zoom a bit low as well. D.Va with self-destruct at the ready should have been needed. Zoom ultra low and no one there to rescue him. They do force the remake with the self-destruct, but at 99%, South Africa will be happy just to let this team fight go and regroup at 30% now. Look to build some ults up and win the one team fight they win to take Gardens home. But Greece, they're not going to make it easy.
This looks like the prime time for a dry fight. It looks like we are coming up on quite a few ultimates here. If we can simply just get that Kitsune, run into their backline, get rid of their carry, I feel like it's a free win for us. Simply to just kind of pick them apart from the inside as Dive normally does.
There is that Kitsune. They get the kill onto Taiko. No teleport available or not coming off in time. There's Condi, finds one in the background. King finds another. That's both healers down. Greece in big trouble now. Anyone in the mix to touch. There is a Tracer flitting about, but not likely to get in and contribute to this team fight. They have traded out relocates, but Condi, he's on fire once again, dominating that Tracer 1v1 to secure a win for his team as now Greece scrambling towards point. Primal Rage at the ready now. 2 Primal Rages potentially. Planet of the Apes incoming here, but Alex dropping low, taken down once again. Not able to find that Winston ultimate as the Kitsune rush comes out from Greece. They have to commit everything here. They have to win this team fight. If they're going to get anything out of Gardens, Melody not dropping on that pulse bomb and able to stay alive. But Condi, what a menace. He's found one support, but they are trading things out now. Alex finds Condi. Somehow Greece have managed to stick in, managed not to lose too many players, and managed to regroup and group and create a difficult situation here for the South African squad, but they are finding the picks one after the other. Zoom popping off now, Otis down, Alex down. Anyone else still left on point is hard-pressed to commit too much here, as it's just the D.Va left on point, dropping low, taking down another self-destruct, looking good, but the overtime ticks down as the D.Va is killed, and South Africa come out firing in map number 1.
So a lot of those fights seemed incredibly chaotic. Very little downtime in between the fights. People trickling in. It's kind of like 2 are left, 3 are left. And it seems like we're thriving in this chaos. It seems like this is almost our style, like we're trying to force the chaos. Because if they don't know what we're doing, we don't know what we're doing.
Other way around, yeah.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But this like almost forced chaos, like kind of to confuse them, but we know what we're doing. Like that kind of anyway. My point is that we looked like the hunted last week. Now we are looking like the hunter. There is chaos created so that we can pinpoint one little target and get rid of them. And it seems to happen every single fight, like clockwork.
Absolutely. We do see now perhaps leaning onto a more comfortable composition, but no, actually, I literally am so trained to look at Zoom on the monkey. I just assumed that the Zarya we were looking at was not Zoom, but it is in fact Zoom, and they are on the Zarya Vendetta. I really like this from the South African squad. not allowing themselves to be pushed into a corner where they need to scramble to make compositional changes, but instead coming out here with a different look completely. The Zarya are putting a lot of damage here, and you can see they can't really stand and fight here. The Zarya D.Va matchup, one of the more famous hard counters in Overwatch, and you can see why. The D.Va not able to stand and fight. Karma finding that last hit. Vendetta though dropping low, and the boop onto one king as well. They're coming in clutch here, but they need to deal with this man right here. Does he have the healing to back him out? I think he said he's got a Lucio. Zoom, so he will be okay. They're trying. Lucio, oh, commits down, doesn't quite secure that kill, has it all under control though, but Gelly popping off now on the front line. Zoom though finds Tycho, still a monster that needs to be dealt with, but Greece have capped in the meantime, 35%, 45% on the clock, so they're happy just to let this kind of trickle out back and forth, and they're finding kills now. Who's on the point here? Nobody for South Africa. Instead, they're just going to back and regroup here. So good work from Greece, actually, to get that early cap and just maintain control over a scrappy team fight.
Yeah, it's been incredibly scrappy just as the dive fights, but it seems just like the tempo is a little bit slower now with the Zarya. You're putting a lot of your resources into this Vendetta to make sure that this Vendetta can get in there, get the kill, get back out, try it again, rinse and repeat. But the Chaos idea, I'm not so sure it works that well with just one character doing that.
Oh.
And lots of ults committed here.
Yeah, good sound barrier there to keep the Echo alive. Does have the ult now, pops it out. Probably will switch back in the midst of this, but it's not going to matter. A huge Graviton surge. Zoom commits his own as well. It wouldn't surprise me to see him swap off the Zarya here. As you say, doesn't quite seem to be working, but they might not have any time here. 90% on the clock. Nobody really in position to touch. It's going to have to be Condi over the top on the Vendetta, but they've covered that off nicely there with the Winston. Does get the touch a couple of players, but yeah, that's all they will manage to do. Get that touch here. And now they come in though, ball in the mix here, but they are, yeah, that kind of scrambled team fight was always going to be really tough to win. They just barely managed to keep it going here. But Kitsune Rush comes out, Swoom, he's doing the best he can, and he's doing pretty good work here, but it's just not going to be enough here. The one-man army finally taken down, and Greece come back with a dominant performance on Night Market.
Unfortunately, Zwoom the bowling ball and Grease the split pins, we can't get them all.
Yeah.
It's a little bit tough. Especially this point, looking a little less, I want to say, hunter-y from us, simply because I believe that our dive has been so strong, and our dive is kind of like the one that we've been adapting for. The Winston into the D.Va seemed really, really good from us. And it seemed like we prepared for that. And the moment things switched up a little bit, maybe there's a little bit more adjusting to be done. Maybe there was just a quick thought in the comms, like, hey, let's try this. Unsure, but yeah, it doesn't seem like the Zarya there was exactly what we needed.
And they're going to stick on it though. Maybe the Zarya then is the new Winston here for South Africa, but Condi going in deep here, bubbled up, able to express themselves. They are playing into the Hazard on the other side as Woom, dropping low there. They force out the Suzu as well, so a lot of resources used up here by South Africa as they look to try and find a way in here. Greece definitely getting the better of these opening salvos as now they move towards point. Gelly dropping low. We go to the soldier now from the Tracer as they look to express themselves from long range, leveraging the Vendetta here. Both teams now, the Greek player on the Greek hero. It feels like an unfair advantage, but we'll see who comes out on top here as the One King finds that opening pick onto the Vendetta, and that's going to give space for Zoom to get nice and aggro on the front line. Finally get that opening cap here, South Africa. Condi says, that's not good enough. I want more. But they'll have to be fine with just getting that first cap for South Africa. Finally in control.
Yeah, so the Greek team here, they had space control quite early, but they struggled to hold it. It seems like with the Hazard on their side, we're getting pretty good at like passing the Hazard and picking apart whatever's supporting the Hazard. And they're struggling to just kind of keep up. And big beat coming out from Melody here.
Yeah, sound barrier, and then a big commitment over the top as well. We just saw that Condi though. He's the one finding kills. Finds one, finds two. Any more? I'm hungry, he says. He's got a Vendetta against him, I suppose you could say. I bet nobody's made that pun before. But that's going to be it here for South Africa. Happy to pick up a few kills. Greece having to regroup once again.
Yeah, so the little Vendetta joke, loved it. But
Nice,
it seems like
thank
they're...
Spent a while working on that one.
You've been waiting. You've been sitting on that one.
Literally.
Yeah, this Vendetta is looking really, really strong on this map. We expected to see some brawl here, and it's working really, really well. And more ults being committed into this fight. Let's see if we can hold it.
Expensive fight for both teams here. Pulse Bomb committed, Hazard ult, Kitsune rush as well. Pressure put now onto the Kiriko. This time it's Alex on the Tracer. They've switched it up. Gelly was running a previous map, but he's sticking on the Sojourn, but the pressure building now. Zoom not quite able to get the Lucio down, but it doesn't matter. They're in firm control once again, 80% on the clock. They've got the Vendetta ultimate. They've got the Zarya ultimate. They should be feeling pretty good about this final fight, Lix.
Yes, this is looking quite strong. With Greece only holding on to a beat, it's impossible to try and stop the wounds that 3 South African ultimates will do. If they can just shut down this Soj, I think they're just free in the water.
We'll have to see, though. They haven't really even started the fight. Are they even going to get touched? Somebody needs to go. They do not. Sound barrier ready to go. The Graviton Surge keeps them off the point there, but the game was over before he popped that swoop. And that is how South Africa win their first match of these show matches. Finally able to take one out over Greece and looking good in the process, Lex.
Yeah, the first map, it was kind of like back and forth. Yes, we had some Greek moments. Yes, we had some South African moments. Eventually, South Africa edges out. Second map, Greece is totally running away with it. And then our last map is just 100% SA. Like, no DNA, just RSA, whole time. And that's exactly what we want to see. Lots of adaptation. We love the fact that the fire is there. And I'm happy Zoom didn't lie to me.
What did he say to you? That he was lying or not?
No, Zoom just said that they're fired up. They're ready to go.
Oh, yes,
they want to win this.
I get it.
And yeah, looks like they really wanted it.
At the risk of being a caricature of myself here, Lixodian, we just played a different hero, and it makes me so happy because we had success on the Winston. That is how you've got to do it, man. You play it, it's strong, it's good, you make it work when it works. You don't force it for 5 maps in a row into the face of a team that clearly knows how to handle it. So the fact that we saw them come in with a plan and say, Gardens, that's Winston Town. And we're going to run it there, and we're going to show you why it's so good. And they did exactly that. Come Night Market, they're like, right, Winston, back in the bin where you belong for most other maps. We're going to bring in something a little bit more meta, a little bit more consistent damage. Doesn't work on Night Market, that doesn't mean we throw it away, right? We know coming in, even though we know Zoom wants to play, he's begging, he's pleading, let me play the Reinhardt, please. No, they go in with what's strongest, what's going to win them the map. And they show us exactly why that Ryan Vendetta is so strong. And Greece, scrambling by the end of that, they really didn't look like they knew how to handle that, especially on Night Market. So this is a turning point for South Africa in terms of how we view them. I think as not a team who is gonna go over lightly. Yes, they performed well against Iceland, but there was definitely a gap between those two teams. But here, these two teams are evenly matched, or at least South Africa performing really, really well here. And I'm really happy to see that. We do know what our next map will be. It is going to be Blizzard World. And we do know what our bans are going to be, at least one of them. It is going to be Vendetta. And oh my God, praise be to the heavens. Praise be to the heavens. I don't believe, but sometimes the universe sends you a sign that there is some kind of higher power, because South Africa have finally banned the Diva. Only 6 games too late. But it's finally happened, right? We've also got King out, Sterling in now, kind of leaning themselves more towards more hit scan style. But Alex, please, preach to me, brother, here. Finally, it's happened.
So we see the Diva ban, which I think is something we've been wanting to see since the Iceland game. Just because Diva plays so well into the Winston that we want to run. So why not just ban the thing that makes it hard for us to play what we want to play? And we've finally done that. We've banned the Diva. Now we can actually see what the Winston is capable of on this Blizzard World attack, right? Because in the Iceland match, we were struggling really to kind of get the Winston into places. The Diva's kind of just like marking everything, playing them out. But yeah, like we're finally able to do the Winston on the attack. I wonder if we bring out the Domina again on defense.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Because that Domina was so good. And had it not been for that one little mistake, that one little overstep, we probably could have held Iceland on Blizzard World. So that just tells me that we're now trying to force this team onto something that they maybe seem uncomfortable with. Like, they came out on the D.Va first, right? We're expecting that, you know, they're comfortable on the D.Va. This is something they've practiced. And then we force them off of it. And we get to play what we've been practicing. Yes, they banned the Vendetta, but are we realistically playing Zarya on this map? There's too much high ground for that to be happening.
Yeah.
So very much
second point
expecting
for
to
sure.
see
Yeah.
a good performance from us. We'll see how the Greek squad adapts.
It's telling that they banned that Vendetta, actually, I think. Condi did look excellent on that hero, but we know it's kind of been a second string pick for them. It's really been him on the Tracer. And we saw on Night Market, that was a big part of why they were able to take that map quite comfortably at the end. Condi is dominating that 1v1 on the Tracer. So he's saying, oh, you know, I love playing the Vendetta. It's his favorite hero, I think. But he's more than happy to force that Tracer duel because he thinks he can win it. So the fact that they take that Vendetta out is telling for just how oppressive he must have felt on that hero. Looking at the
We
squads,
also do have
though,
some subs.
yes, that is true. We've got one King in for Sterling, as I mentioned, but we've also got Melody out for Jacob. So I'm not sure what effect that will have, but the Sterling pick does suggest we're going to be seeing a little bit more of that mid to long range hit scan. The Sojourn especially, I think, is going to be a key pick for them here.
I'm wondering if we're going to see the Emery, since Greece
sure.
came out looking quite scared of the Emery, right? I wonder what coaches are thinking of this hero, and Sterling already immediately picking that Emery. Wondering if this is a new play, maybe trying to look down all of these angles, you know, these kids in their angle maxing.
Angle maxing. That's some Gen Z shit, if I ever have ever heard it.
So yeah, we're looking at maybe a lot of these interesting angles from this Emery, just because he's such a good duelist on his own. And then you pair him up with somebody like Wu Yang, you pair him up with somebody like the Tracer, and just every corner is just scary with this guy on the field.
Compositionally, we do see that Morma is now on the Sigma, so looking to set up a more pokey composition with Alex on the flank here. Condi will be on his Tracer, but eyes will be on Sterling here and on Zoom. Back on the Monkey, looking to kind of rip them apart here a little bit. And it's going to be a tough defense, I think, for the Greece squad here. I want to kind of be centered around, but the Monkey Zoom taking so much damage. Just a bubble, just to set up behind the statue here. Good damage coming through from the Wu Yang here. Both teams, in fact, running the Wu Yang. So clearly a pick that they feel confident playing behind us now. We look here, the duel once again, Tracer on Tracer. Condi dropping low, but not forced into the relocate. As I say that, he uses it now. That's not the name of that spell, I'm pretty sure, but it's okay. We'll figure it out eventually as Jacob are putting damage once again. Neither team finding advantage, but as I say that, Kelly wins that 1v1 against Sterling now, finally, and that's going to open the floodgates here. Another kill onto Karma. Zoom has to get out of there. So too does Melody, and that's going to be it for the first team fight. A full minute burn off the clock here.
So we're looking at mirrored teams here almost. It's really just the tanks which kind of define the play style. You know, we like to play the dive. They seem to want to play the poke here. Maybe they want to play more anchored. Maybe we want to play fast. But this gives the two Emerys very, very different roles. Our Greek Emery is playing a little bit more anchory, a little bit more pokey, whereas our SA Emery is playing a lot more angles.
Oh, hello.
Perfect coordination. Gets that pick.
Yeah, Sterling, Zoom, and Condi all hooking up to get the kill. But unfortunately for them, a great clapback here from the Greek team. Yes, Condi is still expressing himself in the backline, but eventually he goes down. And that's going to be it here. Maybe there's the room for a quick recontest here, but Emre, he'll be joining the fight pretty quick here as they look to set up, what is that, a Kiriko teleport, I assume? Yeah, that is.
So it's looking a little bit dangerous here for us, simply because we're trying to get in there and they collapse onto us. The poke is kind of absorbing the dive a little bit too well here. So it may be time to try and adjust our strategy, maybe adjust who we're looking for.
Oh,
excellent
hello.
duel between Condi and Alex there.
I'm pretty sure he had the E available, so that's just a mistake from Alex, not respecting Condi's ability to get in the great dodge of the accretion there from Zoom, but the Sigma is not happy with that. Pops the Gravitic Flux, looks to track him down, but isn't going to get him. Dropping low now as well, but I think they've popped the sound barrier here. No, they don't have a sound barrier. Don't panic, as they do look to take these team fights out, but they have popped now whatever this spell is called. All 5 ults here used for Greece. Still a couple in reserve, but Swoom, he does drop down, and there is still a tank available here for Greece. You can see the difference it makes here. Now they can look to put the pressure on. A lot of damage coming in onto the supports here. And Morma, he's off HP, but he's not going to stay alive. But Condi pops the ultimate, and now Sterling does the same as well. Not able to find the targets just yet, but Condi is an absolute nuisance here. 1, 2, 3 players inside the second point spawn, and that's going to be it here. South Africa bailed out by the Tracer. Condi, too good.
It just feels like Greece gave South Africa the pinky, and we kind of just pulled it out, like under them. That just did not make any sense. But you know what? Let's go.
I'm glad you said that, because I was processing that in my brain and not coming up with anything.
It feels like Greece was just like kind of shoving ults in our face, and we're like, yeah, okay, that's nice and pretty. And then another excellent collapse onto that. And yeah, that's how we got that point. It was just a good way of patience, a good show of patience. My English is just running out today.
That's okay. We'll get there. It's hot, Licks. We know that. Anybody in Cape Town
incredibly
knows it's the hottest it's ever been in this damn city. Speaking of hot, though, Zoom getting hot all up in the backline here. Oh, never mind. Fixed. Undone. Removed from existence here. Unfortunately for Zoom, didn't quite get to where he needed to be. Instead, sent back to spawn. Otters dropping low. No Susan available. Looking to use it to get the HP, and still committing for that, and is taken down by Sterling. They're still committing to this here, in spite of the fact that their tank was dematerialized here, South Africa. But they are struggling to get over. But Zoom, he's back. He's looking in the backline for targets, finding nothing. And both monkeys kind of chasing each other around here. But they do find an opening pick. Sterling gets his revenge on Gailey now, and that's going to allow them to keep making space here on the point. South Africa ultimate popped here for Otters. Kitsune Rush committed. They've got Karma almost towards theirs as well, but the pressure is being put on the backline here. Zoom trying to send Wu Yang to sleep with the fishes. You think he'd be comfortable in the water, but it kills him just like it kills everybody else in this game. But Zoom dropping low. And to bail out, doesn't quite get the leap where he needs it to go, but it should be okay. A lot of kills going away of South Africa, and it should allow them to get close to the second point cap.
I think it's interesting to note here that we now have monkeys on both sides. Never mind, Swoom switched. But we had monkeys on both sides for most of point B here. And I think maybe Greece is just realizing the faster play time is just better. The speed.
Yeah, you kind of have to be a little bit more flexible with your reactions, but South Africa cleaning up that team fight in the face of a few big ultimates from Greece, more than comfortable matching them man for man and winning the team fights out. So South Africa get that second point cap, 2 minutes on the clock to make something of the third point.
Yeah, Swoom going back to the monkey, understanding that I think this was the play from the start. Greece kind of picking up, what South Africa's putting down. Let's match it, let's play them. But we've also swapped the Wu Yang for a Lucio, which I wonder what kind of advantage this gives us, given that most of the players, or most of the heroes on the South African team do have movement abilities. Yeah, I'm wondering what they're thinking. Maybe Jacob is just more comfortable on the Lucio, maybe able to do more. We'll have to see what impact this has over the Wu Yang.
He will indeed, but Morma trying to create an impact in that room there, trying to force the monkey out, and he does just that. Room taken down by Tycho with the help of the Winston, but their training kills now. Otters again just overstaying their welcome just a tiny bit and getting punished for it. But the kill onto Jacob should mean that they're not really happy to commit here. But it's going to be quite a few quick respawns here for South Africa. So they're going to look to re-engage nice and quickly here. Monkey on the front line, getting pressured out, but that's not really the target here. But the Kitsune Rush comes out from Otters. They're going to have to play carefully here, the South African squad. They do have Condi with the Pulse Bomb looking for targets. Not finding anything he likes just yet, but he does find Tycho. Pulse Bomb not needed. Yeets that into the sky as a celebration. That's what the menu looks like, for those of you who are wondering. But Condi, he's not looking at the menu right now. He's looking at a couple of blue corpses and it's going to be a good thing for South Africa as Karma picks up their second of the team fight. South Africa looking good here on Blizzard World.
Condi is honestly such a dangerous player, and I find it interesting that Greece have not really adapted for him just yet, simply because a lot of the times it's Condi finding the first pick, it's Condi opening it wide up so that South Africa can jump in and clean up the rest. And it's been a rinse and repeat kind of situation. Like, Condi finds our first pick, we go in, we collapse on our next player, boom, 2 down, win the fight.
Oh, and look at that. They popped the Kitsune Rush and they barrel on through. We saw that from Sterling's perspective, and they picked up a couple, and there's not even a moment to defend this final point. They'll call that a C9. But South Africa looked like winning that team fight right from the start. So 3 to the good for South Africa. Another comfortable performance here on Blizzard World. Greece seem like they're playing very actively at the moment, Lex.
Yes, for sure. I think also Sterling may have heard me when I was glazing Condi there, because Sterling then decided, actually, I think I will take 2 now. You are wrong. We are both very dangerous. And yes, yes, Sterling, I agree. But also now what I'm curious to see is, will South Africa come out with the poke style? Is this first point better defended poke? Is it better defended on the Winston? Zwoom coming out on the Domina, like we saw last time against Iceland. We have the Torbjorn as well. Love the good little Swedish man. Surely we see a hammer kill. If we do, I might eat this frog. I said might.
What did the frog do to deserve that?
Me and this frog go a long way. All right, it's, you'll understand. But I'm just wondering, will this Domina be able to withstand everything that Greece is going to throw at them? We've already seen them hovering the Sojourn over the Emery. Wondering if they'll come out on this and what advantage that provides us over, or provides them over the Emery.
Instead, they go for the Echo here. No Tracer, no Vendetta. Not comfortable in that matchup against Condi. Instead, it will be the Echo. And Morma, he's actually going to look at what they have and decide Sigma is the better choice here. That's an interesting switch. They're going to go poke to poke. Vendetta is bad. I did know that. Thanks, Speech, though, anyway, for informing me.
Just testing our producer.
Looking to kind of poke each other out here, but the Domina doesn't really mind that. You kind of counter Domina with the Brawl, or a more divey composition as opposed to just playing into their hands. But we'll see now whether they can get the job done. Turret is taken down here. Greece slowly working their way forward. There is a flanker on the left there with Sterling. He's finding targets here. A little bit of pressure being applied from the flank. We mentioned how good he was at that. Condi, though, out of position and taken down. Alex, he can't quite win the Tracer duel against Condi, but he's happy to win that out. But he is avenged, Condi, by Jacob. So South Africa are going to trade that out evenly as the Vendetta looks to put pressure on the Sigma, but recognizing this is not where the battle is. The battle is across the map on the other side, but she is isolated a little bit on the point. Gailey with space to work with here on the Sojourn, but a shot over the top from Karma to find Otters gets the job done, and Gailey not safe either. Karma popping off once again the supports, saying we can also get the job done here as South Africa burn 1.5 minutes off the clock here.
Yeah, that was an incredibly House of Cards defense, and it was very much all of these moving parts, and if anything goes wrong, then the whole thing falls apart. But it also looked so well trained. Everybody is very heads up on the South African team, knows exactly where they need to be, how they need to play around all of this. And yeah, they kind of stave whatever it was that the Greek team threw at them. Not sure what the slower paced Sigma is going to accomplish into this team, simply because it takes so long to get to the point. You're getting poked at as you get there. That shield only has like limited HP, and you kind of need to just, speed up.
Big mess up there, sliding through the dominant grenade, and does get taken down. Gailey, and the floodgates open once again. That's something South Africa have been so good at today. If they get any advantage, they pounce, and they are absolutely relentless now. That's all 5 down. A team kill, if you will. AI override, or whatever this ability is called, at the ready for Sterling. They've got Wu Yang's ult as well. They've got Molten Core as well. So a lot of ults to work with here for both teams. This next one could be explosive, and if it's too long, they might be in trouble here, Greece.
Yeah, luckily Greece did not invest that many ultimates. It was a 1-for-2 trade. We won. I mean, obviously, if you put in more ultimates, you're expected to win. But Yeah, now the Greek team coming in with 4 ultimates, ready to look at this, and we immediately pop the Molten Core. We'll see how this works out.
Gravitic Flux committed onto the Torbjorn there, but the Molten Core keeps Condi alive. So they're committing a lot of ults here, but not finding anything just yet. In fact, Swoom finds that opening salvo once again onto Geli, the Sojourn, having a tough time finding targets in these team fights. As once again, the damage over the top from Sterling from long range. So hard to deal with, but this is 2 dead heroes here. Condi, Swoom, they're going to eat them up in South Africa now. Just 30 seconds left on the clock to pick up map number 2.
Yeah, with no ultimates on the board and only really Karma close to anything, might even see a Kitsune in this next fight. Unsure how the Greek team will have to crack this. It will have to be maybe a lucky pick or a quality pick or something. But yeah, I don't think it's just going to come on a silver platter here. I think it's going to need to be hard work and just getting a little bit more creative than the South African team.
Condi dropping low, has to pop the armor surge or whatever that's called. That turret is such a nuisance. You can actually see on the point when they try and get in, it's positioned such that it pressures anybody out who's on the point. Over time, ticking down. Greece, not again, not again. Again,
Oh,
it is.
it
That
was
is the
again.
3rd time that they've been in a team fight, not touched the point, and lost the game. And that's going to be it here for map number 2. South Africa just too good 2 times in a row. Jacob will pick up play of the game. But Greece, that's a mental breaker right there.
All I'm saying is, hulle weet nie wat ons weet nie.
Hulle weet nie hoe om die point to touch nie, though. That's a bigger problem for them right now.
Oh, that was a very good showing from South Africa. A completely dominant hold. Kind of exactly the hold we saw from them against Iceland, except this time it was much cleaner. The House of Cards held up. I think they used super glue. Maybe the earthquake didn't happen. I'm not sure. I wasn't there. But it held up so much better. The rotations are looking good. The pressure is looking good. The collapse is looking good. We are incredibly patient, waiting for them to make a mistake. And the moment they show the Achilles heel, the blade goes in. And absolute cinema. That is all I can say. Absolute cinema.
Great reference there as well. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Achilles, famous Greek hero. For those of you who didn't pick up on that. So, yeah, I mean, this actually feels a bit like the inverse of what we saw against Iceland, where it feels like we're the slightly bigger, faster, stronger team as compared to Greece. Even in the game against Iceland, we weren't really struggling to win individual engagements, as in the 1v1s. Condi was, again, in that match, comfortable taking on those 1v1s, coming out on top. Same was true for Sterling or King on the other side. But here the difference seems to be we're also just a little bit more coordinated. The synergy seems to be a bit better, we're sharper, but as much as anything, it doesn't feel like we've got that anchor that the monkey represented in the previous series, right? Now we know Zoom isn't fighting through molasses here. He's not got the weighted armor on, a la Goku. He's taken that off now. He's picking normal heroes and he's forcing the Greece team to respond to him, which they just weren't forcing Iceland to do. Iceland picked the diva and they were like sick. That's one problem solved for the rest of the game. Whereas here, Zoom is a constant menace. And again, to reiterate, Zoom is incredible on that Winston, but he's fighting an uphill battle when he maybe didn't need to. And now he's showing a dimension that we didn't see against Iceland. You can see the difference it's making here. Greece having to scramble. It's them now having to come up to solutions. We're setting the tempo here, Lix, and it's setting us up really strongly. We do know what our 3rd map is going to be. It is going to be Atlas. That's a map that I'm very unfamiliar with. So I look forward to seeing how these 2 teams navigate this. We do have our bands coming through as well. Greece, they are going to take out Zarya. In South Africa, we wait to see what. We'll have to see what they end up doing here. What do you ban if you're South Africa here? What are you scared of?
Geez, currently, it's gonna sound so arrogant. I'm not scared of anything.
Yeah, not much.
South Africa has kind of just been running the show. We are the bigger, better, faster, stronger, all that. Kanye West said it first.
Exactly.
No, Daft Punk said it first. But
True.
they just need to make sure that we ban something that will slow our tempo down. that's kind of what's making us win here. We are just playing faster than Greece. We are making the right moves. We know how to read the mistakes and then collapse on them. We just need to make sure that we ban something that forces more mistakes, or something that forces them to be more uncomfortable. This time the Vendetta ban comes out, which interesting, because the Zarya is banned, so I'm not really sure why you would play the Vendetta without a Zarya.
That's a good
the
point.
character just kind of goes into die then. But also, since we're playing on Atlas, we're expecting to see a lot of brawl. There are a few points with some high ground on it, but mostly it's a lot of brawl and a lot of walking. So you're assuming there's going to be a lot of movement, probably a Lucio, maybe a Cat. And yeah, we're just looking to play fast. Again, it's really been working for us. We want to keep getting into their backline, keep picking out the little mistakes, or even trying to force the mistakes by playing faster than they do. Yeah, so the Vendetta ban is a little strange for me.
It is odd when you contextualize it with the Zarya. It is an odd ban.
Yeah.
Because it seems like the Zarya ban is two heroes ban. As you say, I'm feeling like maybe you take something like the Echo out there. That is a hero that they've looked like they've wanted to try make work on the Greece side. Other than that, maybe you take out some of the support. But it seems like South Africa like having the supports in the pool, rather than trying to counterban the opposing team. Looking at the compositions though, Morma, the Hazard could be an interesting ban. It didn't work out for them on Control Center, but it's kind of hero you don't really want to have in a map like this where there's a lot of space to work with. So it might be something we see going forward, but for now, Morma is looking to come out on that. On the other side, we also have a venture actually from Alex. I wonder if we'll see these heroes come out like this. But South Africa, they're going for a relatively stock standard here. Condi will switch back to the Tracer, and then that'll be pretty comfortable compositionally for South Africa.
Now, something that was interesting was Jacob hovering the Mizuki, which actually would have been a pretty good play into this Hazard, because the Hazard is wanting to get into that backline. Mizuki is sitting there anyway, binding chain, get rid of the Hazard, boom, done, dead, and that should be a teamfight 1. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them go back to the Hazard if, the Mizuki, if they are seemingly struggling with this Hazard, or maybe struggling with this Venture. Yeah, simply because it's such a strong CC, right?
It is indeed. You definitely could use that now. You can see the pressure that Hazard is putting on. Adventure, there's so much damage in the backline as well. The backline will need to have their wits about them there, as we can see. Vendetta putting the pressure on, committing a lot to try and get rid of this Lucio, dropping to half HP, but on the front line, not able to find any kills for South Africa. Gelly dropping low, though, has to up the relocate out there as Condi finding a target, gets Tycho down. That's one healer out of the fight now, but they trade out healers. Jacob getting the worst of that engagement on the other side as Alex FM finds that pick, and Condi dropping low, forced to use his cooldowns, but they might find the Hazard, and they do just that. Condi once again opening things up for the South African squad. Eventually Gailey comes in and cleans him up, but they are in control right now. South Africa 50% on the clock. It takes really quick in Flashpoint, so this might be last team fight already.
Yeah, watching Condi play Tracer is probably what it was like watching Monet paint, because you kind of see the vision and you like see where he wants to go, but you don't fully understand it. You just know you have to trust him, and then you see the end result, and it's just the most beautiful thing you've ever seen.
I don't know enough about Monet to really engage with you on that, but I definitely get the sentiment you're putting out there. They're not quite, artistically educated enough, but Condi on the Torbjorn now says, who needs the Tracer? I just need a friend right now, and there's the friend. He puts it down. It's so hard to deal with on the point. Is it affected by the Kitsune Rush? Probably not, right? But it's doing work now. They pop the Hazard ulti. They actually find nothing with that as Room picks up a quick double. So being a nuisance here on the point, but Condi just waits for his moment and gets that kill. Tracer trying to keep the Flashpoint up for just a little bit longer, but no hope of winning that team fight as South Africa once again stomped their authority on the first point.
Yeah, again, Condi, the artiste, looking at this Torbjorn. It's a masterclass in how you should deter flankers and how you should like 1v1 flankers. Gelly is getting no value at all. It just feels like they're being shut down completely. There is no way to even assail this backline. Jacob and Karma are frolicking somewhere out on Miami Beach, while Condi is quite literally the wall that is blocking all of the damage. Yeah, it's spectacular to watch.
Sterling, speaking of damage, trying to output a bunch of his own. Not finding the targets he really needs to. That's a nice grenade, actually. Both grenades go down. They're one eaten by the Diva that they have switched on to. Kitsune Rush committed here from Grease. Morma, though, dropping low. There's a big bag. Torbjorn in your face. And he's doing so much work. Condi, he's playing Tracer now in the skin of a Torbjorn. And he's a menace to handle here for the Greek side. This is some peak South African Overwatch right here. No hammer kills just yet. It has to be said, Licks, but you just get the sense that we'll put that away.
He's aware. He's aware.
Literally. Oh.
So this South African team, we know them to be a little bit silly. We know that Zwoom, he's a bit of a prankster, you know, like a little bit of a goofy guy. But I'm wondering how much of that has spread to the rest of the team, because you can almost see the spirit that they're playing with. It looks like they're having fun while they're playing, having a little bit of a laugh while they're playing, just like it's a good time. Like it's a bunch of friends playing ranked together, except this time it means a little bit more and the communication is a little bit much clearer than in my Diamond games. But you know, it's looking good. It almost looks like there's a massive smile on the screen. You know?
Yeah, 100%. This is a team playing with confidence. Here we go! Here we go! Oh, stolen! No! Stolen! Oh my god. What are we doing?
Robbed.
What are we doing? Actual throw plays. Condi's like tilted now, I bet you. We'll have to see how it affects his play, whether that moment of inconsiderateness from his team will affect the synergistic output of this roster. But it feels like it won't even matter right now, right? They are just absolutely steamrolling here. This Torbjorn pick as well is just such a mental boom pick as well. You're like, why are we losing to this? What is happening, guys? Morma, he is on the road dog now, trying to find any solution that they can here. It feels desperate almost, Lex, from Greece. They're looking for any kind of play they can make, but Sterling put under pressure here. The unrun having to back out though, and Karma tracks them down and secures that kill. Alex having a real tough time here, but Gelly, he gets the kill onto Condi. The carry taken out of the team fight for the time being. That hook looked good. He cut away for a second, came back and saw Karma, nothing but a corpse here. Roadhog dropping low, but plenty of resources. South Africa have control of the point now. Healing good to keep Sterling alive during his ultimate as Zoom finds the pick onto Tycho. Greece aggressing their way onto the point now. 15% built up, and Gelly taken down. Sterling with the gat out, getting rid of the Brit. And that's going to be it here. Greece forced back once again. Condi deciding the Torbjorn. I think he just picked the Torbjorn and then stayed it until he died. I don't even think he wanted to play that hero for as long as he did.
However, he was just cooking on that. And I did also not know that we had literally Dr. Chris Barnard on our backline. Because Sterling was so dead, had to be dead. And somehow our supports are doing quite literally the work of God himself. We just have such a good team play in this game. It seems a lot more together. And yeah, like we're not even worried really. It seems like very like I don't want to say haphazard, because this is still very calculated and all of that, but it seems like we're thinking less and playing more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, this is pure confidence is what you're seeing, in my opinion. This is a team who feels like they are dominating and playing like they have never done anything but dominate. They are every target they need. They're committing to everything they can, and they're winning every duel they need to. 3-0, we haven't mentioned it. It is first to 4, so we do have at least one more match left. But at the risk of being a little bit too overconfident, it feels like a foregone conclusion here almost, which is something I never thought I'd be saying in this show match this evening, at least as far as South Africa winning goes. So really awesome to see the South African squad put up such a strong performance. We knew they were good when we watched them play Iceland, and now they're showing us that they can pick up W's as well.
Yeah, no, that was an excellent showing. Again, very, very dominant. We might be thinking that maybe it's a mental boom for the Greeks. Is this possible? Maybe that Torbjorn coming out and dominating them so much.
All I can say, Alex, is that
to
I
be-
would be mentally boomed.
Yeah, no, for
now,
sure.
To be fair, that's not saying much, but still.
No, look, the Torb coming out, that was quite a dangerous pick from us. It feels like there's a little bit of mind games going on. I think fondly back to the time when we played at the LAN not too long ago, and Zwoom playing on what was the map? Runasapi, pulling out the monkey business, the phone, you know, with the Vanquish, hello. Getting that out, it just feels like that same kind of energy, that same kind of like team banter, because we're winning, we're confident, this is good for us, and you know when something's going well, the banter's going well, everything just it's moving. We like it. Yeah, and I'm sure South Africa are having a real good time at the moment. But guys, we're gonna take a quick break here after map number 3, but don't go anywhere. We'll have to wait and see whether this is a momentum breaker for the South African squad. We've seen this kind of thing before across flesh sports, esports, any kind of sports, where if you're on a roll, you want to keep going. But we will have a short 3-4 minute break here before map number 4. So guys, don't go anywhere. Show March continues in just a little bit.
do not adjust your television screens. The scores are not the wrong way around. That does happen sometimes. It's not happening right now. 3-0 South Africa are at the moment against the Greek challengers. It's been as dominant a performance as the scoreline makes it look. My name is Sun Phoenix, joined here by Lixodian. Lix, we've been living our whole lives for a match like this against a European juggernaut. Maybe that's overstating it a bit, but a stalwart of European Overwatch in South Africa is showing up in a big way in this show match.
Yeah, South Africa coming in with insane heat, running through everybody. I mean, it's been dominant. It's been ferocious. It has been fast. It has been furious, and it's all about family. Oh, we love this team. We've seen a little bit of meme plays. We've seen the Torbjorn come out. We saw that hammer flash. We can only assume the South African team is having a good time. Yeah, you're going to have a great time when you're winning. And now it's just to see if they can keep it going.
And that's an important point to make because, as I mentioned before we headed into the break, these kind of tempo breakers, momentum breakers, you have to kind of have your wits about you as a team who is dominating. It's so easy to spend this time in the break, cool down just a little bit, lose that edge, and have Greece spend their time in their break recuperating, get a bit of a finger wagging from the coach, maybe a bit of motivation, and they come back looking strong into map number 4. So South Africa are going to have to still be on it here. The previous results are almost moot in some ways after a short break like this. So you've really got to apply yourself here in what could be the final game. We do know where that potential final map will be taking place. It is going to be on Esperança. It is going to be Push. It is going to be the home of Brawl Licks. So interesting to see what we'll see here. But Greece have decided we're going to remove one of the potential playstyles from the game, and that is going to be the poke by taking out the Domino. Of course, Sigma still in play. And South Africa, as I suggested they might do last game, they take out the Echo. Pretty solid brand from South Africa here, I think. The Greece ban, I don't feel like Zoom is going to pay that hero anyway other than Blizzard World Defense.
Yeah. Listen, we went to Ispa and my first thought was Vendetta's free. She is out of the cage. And I expect Condi to wreak absolute havoc on this character. Yeah, we're probably seeing a Zarya Vendetta. If not, we're going to go for our first pick, which is the Winston. And really, I don't know what else Greece could have banned here that would not cripple themselves. Because, yeah, we want the Kiri here. Yeah, we want the Lucio here. But we've already banned the Zarya. We've already banned the Vendetta. Like, what else could they ban?
I think you banned the Winston, surely, right? It feels like they weren't winning.
They just
that
played the
trade.
Zarya.
That's true. But, I mean, I feel like if I'm South Africa, I'm probably starting... I guess it really depends on how they want to run the map, because they've clearly come in with plans for each map. So my instinct would be that they would come in with the Winston, Tracer, Emre to start things off here. But they've shown us that they're like, no, we've got plans for each map. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if they come in with the Zarya Vendetta, like you're suggesting. We do have a couple of substitutions here. King and Melody are in for Sterling and Jacob, respectively. So might not see the Emre here. That's an interesting change for me. Might go back to the Sojourn, South Africa with some confused stuff. I don't think it's happening. But I think it'll be interesting to see. I think it'll be telling what South Africa come out here with. In Greece, they're on the road to redemption here. If they're going to win the show match, it's going to have to be a reverse sweep here, but you just take it one map at a time. So they've got to focus on taking things over the line here on Esperança.
Now, something I'm expecting from South Africa is, since we brought in One King, are we bringing back the Sojourn? Is this going to be a Sojourn Vendetta look from us? Personally, in my opinion, I think that would be quite a good look from us, given how strong King is on the Sojourn and how much damage he can provide when the Vendetta isn't able to go in.
Oh man, Zoom, come on.
Yeah, Zoom, pull out the hog, man.
Come on.
We need it. We need it right now.
There we go.
But it looks like we're getting the dive look from them, which also was quite strong. The only difference here looks like the Ana, which could prove to be a little bit of an issue if Zoom doesn't manage the bubble well. But this could also be a really big win condition for South Africa, is to get rid of that Ana.
Yeah.
Simply because once her cooldowns are gone, if she misses them, she's kind of done for.
She's a big, bright red spot in the squad in terms of a target for South Africans. They find the Ana, they are going to look to get rid of her ASAP as possible here. And they do know where she is now. They're kind of happy just to set up on the point, try and get the opening move here on the robot, and they do just that. Oh no! Got stuck on the corner there, but will be kept alive. Good rotation there from the supports, but Condi loses that trade. Not something we've been able to say a lot here, but the One King will get rid of Otter's here's Woom, having to back up here very aggressively to try and keep himself healthy, but they've spotted out Alex and Zoom with a great rotation to get rid of the Sojourn, and now he's on the front line looking to take out that Ana. We said she'd be a target, and a target she proves to be, taken out here at the last minute. Condi back in the mix here for the last hit on Mormer, and South Africa take this opening fight pretty comfortably in the end.
Look, Monet dropped this paintbrush for just a second, but don't worry, because we have Rembrandt in the back line.
Okay.
And he is cooking just as hard. Zwoom making sure to make all of the right decisions, pacing it just right, even though we lost one, able to go and find the rest of them, and just kind of bait them into a false sense of security, and then just kind of yeah, guess what? We got this. It's looking really good once again. Yes, they may have gotten that, that 11 meters, but South Africa, they know how to just turn it into a little bit of a better time, you know? Yeah, maybe we get load shedding, but that turns into a candle fest, you know?
Let's not, mention the devil's name here. We've been, how long have we had 24 hours a day of electricity? Let's not invite that evil into our hearts here. Speaking of evil, the evil monkey on the enemy team getting aggro onto the good guy Melody, but unfortunately, that is a trade that they will win out here. Greece finally finding some purchase in this team by Kondi. What an absolute nuisance. Everywhere you look, he appears, but Zoom dropping low here. Primal Rage pop, having to use it mostly for defense, really, but Momo, he's found a couple of kills here. Pulse Bomb committed onto the monkey, not really finding anything. Really nice work from the South African squad to put out a few ultis here, but this is Greece all the way, pushing forward, pushing South Africa back, found 2 picks, and that's going to allow them to get some momentum on the card.
I must say, I'm quite impressed at how good South Africa is at licking their wounds. They are so good at just finding the right place to hide, just snaking out in the right moment, and then being able to re-engage when they're at full strength. Greece just does not have the ability to put their foot down hard enough. It's just ever so slightly sliding away and then coming back stronger.
This Ana is a delicious meal for the monkey. So often just track down, take it about Kelly, though in the back line, dropping people like flies rather, finding picks for the Greece team, and they've been good this round so far at finding those opening picks. Momo especially being in the right place at the right time when his team needs him to secure opening kills.
Yeah, I think Gelly has gotten a little sick of losing to Condi, and yeah, there was probably some feud that Monet had, and that's coming back. A lot of dangerous plays from Gelly. These tracers kind of dictating the fight just as much as the tanks are, and kind of looking for that first pick, that war. Who's gonna get it first? Who's gonna cook harder here? Is it Gordon Ramsay, or is it going to be, what is that guy's name? Ruben Ruffel.
Ruben Ruffel! If only we knew a Greek chef, right? That would have made that analogy.
That would have been so much better, but I don't know much about the Greeks.
No, I simply could not name a single famous Greek person outside of maybe a footballer, but I don't even know football. Anyways, speaking of football, Condi getting kicked around just a little bit, but Momer, again, finding the opening pick for Greece. Yeah, they've been doing that so well, but in spite of all that, it's been a pretty consistent back and forth here. South Africa still maintaining a fairly comfortable lead here, but Condi going down, that's going to be perfect for the Greece squad. It's going to allow them to find a few extra picks here. Yes, the monkey is low. Zoom, but he's not really going to be contributing anymore to the fight. He gets Alex, but he's losing teammates at a rate of knots, having to back out now. So good work from Greece. They might be able just to get over the line here to take the lead on Esperanza.
It just feels like their silly has become a little bit too silly, and they need to kind of just pull it back a little bit. South Africa, not quite on the ropes, but also not quite dominating. It feels very much like two boxers kind of just like bouncing there, listening to ABBA instead of actually fighting each other.
Oh, Condi, outplayed.
Condi's back.
Absolutely outplayed. Recognizes that the Mega is the focal point of that little engagement. So plants his butt on there and picks it up before the Tracer can get it. So really nice stuff from Condi. That's going to allow them to get control once again. They didn't quite get that cap, so it looks like they'll get that right about now. No, not able to get it all the way just yet, but Swoom in the back line now on top of Alex should get that kill. Not going to get it before the One King goes down, though. He will eventually track him down as Condi puts the pressure on the front line. There is an Angry Monkey in the middle here. This Melody trading out against Tycho. Tycho doing an excellent job on this Anna, by the way. We thought it would just be food, and it looked like food for just a while, but ended up being friend, not food here, as Karma looking for targets here. They need to just get this first point cap. I don't think they've realized that they don't have it or that they could get it right now because it's not being contested. Oh, I lie. Sorry, I'm dumb. The card is like literally on the other side of the map here. And it might be Greece taking the lead here if South Africa are not careful, but they're doing a good job of managing this point, South Africa.
Yes, South Africa doing a great job not getting that slip, which I think personally was the moment where we lost the Iceland map here, is where we had the advantage. We kept it for so long, and then that little bit where we allowed Iceland to get past, it just becomes such an unsurmountable mountain, especially when we are so deep into the match and we are dropping off like crazy.
The calls are so good here, immediately spotting that the Sojourn is one and Zoom pouncing like an absolute predator to get rid of the Sojourn. Now Christo looking for targets, but the pressure is really on the point here. Zoom almost up to his ulti. The Ana looking for targets, and she is a target herself. No, great sleep. The nano boost comes out. There's a nano boosted monkey, but Zoom is comfortable here. He's got his ulti shooting needed. The dropping low Morma through the nano boost. Too much damage. Zoom taken down by the pulse bomb. And they might be able to turn this one around, Greece, but South Africa in control nonetheless. Oh, One King finds Morma. Can he find any more? Not gonna for the time being, but sets up Condi for the kill onto Alex. So once again, just a momentary lull in the fight there, Lex, but eventually South Africa come back firing and get the butt scratch.
Now, something big to note is we are with forward spawns here, and we have 4 ultimates into Greece's potentially 1. Now, Push is an exceptionally snowbally mode. This can run away from a team so easily. So this, if we just cycle these ultimates well, this is our game to win. Oh my days!
One King popping off here. Eat your heart out, Sterling. One King showing us why he gets subbed in when they need the Sojourn player. Struggled a bit early on in this map, I think, but hitting his stride now, making space for the rest of the team and doing an excellent job at that. So an efficient team fight, just 3 ults used there for South Africa, and with both supports at the ready, they should feel confident coming into this next fight. As the monkey jumps in, Primal Rage popped here by Morma, looking for targets, not finding anything. No, finds in the backline the Sojourn, the One King, but the support is there, but eventually with the help of Geli, they track down the Sojourn. Melody as well, gonna fall. There's room though on the other side, but the trade is currently favoring Greece, 3-2 in their favor, including one of the healers. So we'll have to see how South Africa choose to play this out now. Got a few players out of position, but Geli, not even sure where Condi is. I mean, just got completely manhandled. Nike's on, flitting around the map. Condi, a thief in the knife as Woom now jumps into main. Morma dropping low under pressure. Suzu pop and gets the Mega to keep himself healthy, but South Africa, they are controlling proceedings. They are corralling the cows that are the Greek team. I just said that to fit the metaphor. I'm not saying anything about the Greek players, but the Sojourn tracked down, taken out, and the card already moving in the right direction. Clinical, textbook, these are words that come to mind here, Lex.
For sure. Condi collecting these pop culture references like they're Pokemon cards, because this man is looking like Batman. I am the knight. Can't even see him, and it's danger. Whenever you can feel Condi around. Like Condi is not in danger, he is the danger.
There's an aura about him that you can sense, and you feel the danger, but you don't quite know where he is or where he's coming from. But now we know he's in the backline here. They force out the sound barrier. They get the point, flip the stick onto the monkey, jumps back towards his team. Under pressure now, Momo once again, but they've already lost Gaily. Karma this time, finding that opening pick, and the door's shut in the face of Greece, not just in the map, but in the series as a whole. South Africa, bigger, faster, stronger, finally licks. We step up to the world stage.
Yeah, finally we make it here. And Greece, I'm not sure if this is maybe like a country allergy or something, but they really do need to get to that point. It was so dominant there at the end there for South Africa. The moment we crossed that barrier, I think it was those 4 ults. Like we continuously kept the snowball going. We continuously ran them down, and they just never had an answer. The steam train kept chugging.
Yeah, and Shosholoza, Stimula, Supum, South Africa. I mean, that was unseasonable dominance from the South African side there. We saw hints of this against Iceland. We knew they had something in them. And we felt that it was a compositional decision-making issue as much as a skill issue in that map. Here, they've solved that problem, at least to the extent that they've been able to take the fight to Greece. And once they got on top, they played with confidence. They played with a dominating style. They looked like they were having fun, and they really never looked back after that first point on Lijiang Tower. Intelligent decisions compositionally, intelligent decisions roster-wise. This was a textbook display from the South African squad, and I think it's something that we as South Africans can all be proud of, watching them perform like this.
Look, we have to start including South African, the Rhinos, into the GOAT conversation of SA. Like they've officially done it. We've got the Springboks, we've got the Proteas. Bafana still needs to catch up. But now surely we put the Rhinos in there as well. Like we have to, it's time. We have to add them.
Yeah, I mean, as a lifelong Proteas fan, that is a painful experience, broadly speaking. I don't know that I would include them in the GOAT conversation, but I mean, sign me up. Sign me up. This has been I mean, if you're watching this and you're not from South Africa, you might be thinking, yo, guys, relax. It's not that big of a deal. But we've faced off against teams like this a lot in World Cup adjacent matches like these, and it's been zeros across the board in the W column. So this is a big deal for us, and more than anything, it's the nature of the win. We won in a way that made it look like we've got more to offer here. We didn't grind out a win here. We didn't, it wasn't Greece making mistakes here and there. I mean, there's always an element of that, don't get me wrong, but it really felt like South Africa came into this with confidence, with plans set in place, and with a strategy for victory here that they executed on perfectly. Credit to the coaching staff, especially. We spoke about the similarity between the coaching staffs, personnel-wise, and again, wonder how much of an impact that had on how the game played out. But ultimately, it's the players in the game who have to make the difference when it counts. And today, the 7 or so of South Africa were just better than what Greece had to offer. So credit to them, credit to Greece as well, of course. Showing up, putting up a big fight. I'd love to see whether this is a blip on the radar for them, how they approach coming out of this. And again, we were kind of, every time we watch these matches, we build up an idea of the relative strengths of all these teams. Iceland seems like a stronger team than what Greece has been, but I would love to, go back again and face Iceland again and see how the South African squad has grown since that match. And so too the Icelandic squad. And hopefully we just get more of these show matches as well. Hopefully this victory inspires more international teams to take a look at us and say, hey, they're a challenge worth taking on. And that's only going to be positive no matter the outcomes of those kind of games. But before we sign off here, Lix, we do have to just give our MVP here. Who was it on either team that stood out to you here as your man of the match?
I don't think I was very mysterious about it.
Mm-hmm.
Our resident artiste, the man behind the painting, painting with the blood of the enemies,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Condi. He's gonna be my MVP.
Yeah, uncontroversial to say the least. I think a big part of this team's success in the past and going forward, the Italian South African really expressing himself on the Tracer, on the Vendetta, on the Torbjorn, and really winning all the engagements he needed to win in the enemy backline. So 100% agree with you, Condi, a superstar in the making here in South Africa, and I look forward to seeing what he can do going forward. I look forward to seeing what this team can do going forward. Credit to Smiley and the rest of the coaching staff for what they've been able to do here. No matter what happens from here on out, this has been an extremely impressive performance that we can be proud of. So I look forward to seeing what comes next. Fingers crossed we get some more show matches here. Fingers crossed, like I said, this result inspires other EMEA teams to get in touch for more show matches, because I think that only is going to serve to benefit us as South Africans and as an Overwatch community. So big ups to this team, big ups to the backroom staff. Smiley, I know, is putting in a ton of work. The guys, the players are putting in a ton of work. They've got some really good sort of the coaches involved as well. So things are looking bright here for the SA Rhinos. Before we sign off, Lix, any final words, any final thoughts from you?
I'm happy to see what we saw. I'm happy to see the fire that we have, the RSA that's running through the veins. It's looking good. There is for sure promise. I wonder how far we can actually go with this team.
100%. I look forward to seeing. So guys, that's going to be us here from Causa. Credit to Greece, but congratulations to South Africa for what was a textbook performance from a team brimming with confidence. We look forward to seeing what they do next. But for now, that's it from us. We'll see you guys next time.
Wow.